Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Fool of a Took, your favorite Lord of the Rings podcast. This week we're here to discuss Book 2, Chapter 7, The Mirror of Galadriel, which is...
very close.
Very close.
Ha ha.
Galadriel is an old friend of mine. We call her Gal for short.
Oh my God. No.
She was obsessed with her mirror as a teenager, I remember. Still got stickers on it. Elrond and fucking Celeborn.
It is really funny that she named it after herself.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was like, this is the mirror of Galadriel. And her mom was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Cool.
After losing Gandalf in Moria, the company continues their journey bound for the elven city of Lothlorien. They reach the edge of that golden wood and try to make camp, but some guard elves find them and give them a safe place to sleep in the trees. During the night, an army of orcs passes underneath them, and Frodo locks eyes with something creepy. In the morning, the group is led to the heart of the forest, the Gore. In that enchanted space, Frodo climbs a lookout and sees the darkness in the east, while Aragorn relives a happy memory.
That's so nice.
And now we have this chapter.
You knock it the fuck off. This is a great chapter.
It is a great chapter.
So
Well, the last chapter was very beautiful.
it was. And like this chapter is sadder and weirder.
Yeah, I actually really love this chapter. I mean, I have the biggest girl crush on Galadriel. Like when I first read this at 13, I was like, oh, I wish I could be here one day. And in reality, I'm like third Hobbit in the back. But yeah, I think she's awesome. She's badass. She's so powerful and wise. She treats everyone with love and respect. And
She's a great character.
Yeah, and out of all the females we've met so far in this
It's
world,
nice to have a well-written female.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Like you feel it.
Yeah.
Very palpable.
It's great that you have that feeling in this chapter because that's kind of the point. This is the party catching its breath. This is the reader catching their breath. We're now being forced to process the death of Gandalf. We're being forced to reckon with what that means going forward. But what we do get is we get a view of kind of the other pole of elvish power in Middle-earth, right? If Imladris, if Rivendell is one of these three remaining centers of power, the Grey Havens is the other one, but that's all the way on the west coast, and that is the point of departure. The third center is here in Lorien, and at the center of that is Galadriel. So this chapter starts with the Fellowship breaking the tree line inside the forest and being confronted with this huge open expanse in the middle of the forest, and in the center of it is Caris Galadon, the city of the Galadrim, the folk of Lorien. This is their center of power in Lothlorien, in the forest. This is their place. It is a city made of trees. They're enormous. They're huge. The biggest trees any of them have ever seen, even bigger than anything they've seen in Lothlorien. They are living towers. And as the sun is going down, they are watching as lights come on in the trees, like as many lights as there are stars in the sky. And these are all lamps that are being lit. So they approach and they cross this huge open expanse. They go past a defensive ditch, and then they follow this white road around these living green walls. They make it to the north side of the city where the gate is, and Haldir is with them. Haldir basically calls out and says, "We're here." And the gates open silently. No one working the gates just open. And they enter this city, and it's just green lawns and trees. They don't see anyone, but they can hear people. They can hear singing and voices coming from the trees above their heads where all the lights are. So remember, this is Lothlorien. This is where if the elves don't want to be seen, they ain't seen. And
Oh, yeah.
right?
They can like hide very well.
Like think about how they met Haldir.
Yeah.
It was suddenly
Haldir met them.
right. Suddenly it was elves and
Yeah.
violence.
Hello.
Oh, hello there. And then blindfold time, and then eventually here. But so they journey through this city of living towers. These enormous trees. These huge redwood, sequoia-sized, magic fucking trees
That's a great way to put some scale to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're huge. So they're traveling through this city of enormous redwood-sized trees, and Haldir takes them directly to the center of even larger trees. And they find the biggest fucking tree, and Haldir's like, hello, guards. And my God, there's actually elves. And they have a quick exchange. And Haldir says to the fellowship, yeah, so the Lord and Lady of Lorien want to meet the ring bearer and whoever the fuck else you guys are. So I'm going to go up with Frodo and Legolas first, and the rest of you just, make it up as you can. Behold a staircase. Good luck. It's a ladder.
It's so fucked right now. Dude.
That horrified
It's just a fucking
me.
ladder, man.
My palms started sweating reading that. Like a 300-foot tall ladder. They're like, here's your stairs.
That's some privileged shit right there. That's taking
do it.
heights, fear of heights, not into account.
And that you're a hobbit. You're so small.
But only the worthy can go and meet the Lord and Lady of the land.
Right.
I guess a giant ladder does that.
And to be fair, for the most part, they are really just trying to keep everybody who's not an elf out. This place was literally not designed for anyone else.
Unless you can fly.
Who can fly?
Monsters. Eagles.
Eagles?
Can they see it?
Fly, eagles, fly.
Yeah, they get to the top and they're like, I forgot my drink.
Yeah.
Gotta go back down for it.
Can I see the ring?
Ooh, I showed it for weight about 40 feet
Funny
ago.
story.
So it's really not OSHA compliant. It's and they actually go so far as to say like, hey, if you need to take a break, there's side platforms. You can stop anytime you want, but really you got to get up top. We got to go meet the Lord and Lady. This is the thing.
Like in Zelda.
Like in
You
Zelda.
can climb the towers.
And just like in Zelda, if you're not careful and you get too tired, you'll fall off and die.
Super. I love it.
Wait, Zelda was an elf, right?
Kind of.
Pointy ears?
Yeah, pointy ears.
She did have
Close
pointy ears.
enough.
She?
Yeah. Oh, Chris, do you not know the difference between Link and Zelda?
I played Zelda when it came out on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
Zelda's
not
the
since.
princess.
So I was 5.
So Zelda is
The princess. And Link is the adventurer.
What?
yeah.
The
Yeah.
little green, the guy with the green tunic and the blonde
That's
hair.
not Zelda?
That's Link.
It's
I'm not a
Princess
Nintendo
Zelda.
to a
person.
tower.
I
They
don't
were
play
so
Close
Nintendo
related.
games.
He couldn't tell.
That's true.
I thought his name was Zelda. I've been calling him Zelda for...
Well,
Which is funny because I actually got into an argument with somebody when Robin Williams had his daughter. He named her Zelda. And I got into an argument with somebody and I was like, that's a fucking dumb name for a girl.
oh no.
That's a boy's name.
That's a good
my
boy's
God.
name.
No. The things we learn on this podcast.
We're all growing.
We got to get Chris's nerd cred up.
But again, this is Haldir being an asshole, right? He already did the rope trick. Now he's doing the ladder trick.
Yeah.
And he's like, goodbye, suckers. Best of luck. And up he goes. And eventually Frodo makes it to the top. And I imagine he is like sweating. Because have you ever climbed a ladder and gotten tired halfway up?
Yeah.
And just, it fucking sucks,
And my ladders were only 10 feet tall.
right?
Oh my God.
Halfway up, which is about 2 steps. I had to take a break.
I had to climb into a hayloft the other week and I was scared for my life. It was like just a ladder going straight up and I was like, I'm not in shape for
It's
this.
scary. I don't know how people do that. Like firefighters, and they throw their ladders like, oh, no way, dude.
Or folks who work on the big electrical towers, the
Oh,
linemen,
God, no
that
way.
shit. Yeah.
Nope.
But so they make it up. Frodo makes it up. And what he finally comes up to is this huge expanse, this huge platform. Tolkien says it's like the deck of a great ship. And on it is a house, like a hall, a center, like a town center. Like this is the court where Celeborn and Galadriel rule from. And they go in, and Celeborn is like, hey, how you doing? Hi, Frodo, welcome, ring bearer, so glad you're here. And everyone is treated to their first sight of Celeborn and Galadriel. They are tall, they are powerful, they are ageless except for their eyes, which are like just full of, they are ancient.
6,000-year-old eyeballs.
No,
They've
no.
seen a lot.
They've seen a lot. They're shriveled little M&Ms.
No, Chris.
It's just like raisins.
Galadriel's like, hello!
No, that is not what it means.
Sam jumps back through the hole.
They're
Frodo's
full of
like,
wisdom.
Full of wisdom. So this is Galadriel and Celeborn. And, Celeborn says, Frodo, we already did our thing. Aragorn, welcome back after 38 years of being away. Legolas, welcome, because he's kind of their bumpkin cousin. Gimli, first fucking dwarf I've seen in a minute. Welcome. Skips Boromir, skips the other hobbits, just goes, 8. Well, unless things change, there's supposed to be 9 of you. Did things change? Galadriel's like, no, things did not change, but for real, where's Gandalf? I can't sense him anywhere. And Aragorn breaks the news to everybody and says, Gandalf the Grey fell to the shadow in Moria. He did not escape. And this is devastating, world-changing news for these deathless creatures, thousands of years old. Gandalf the Grey is one of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth, and he's fucking dead? And this is how they find out? Celeborn turns to Haldir's like, why the fuck did I just learn about this right now? You've been with them for 3 days. What the actual fuck is your job? and Legolas jumps in and is like, we didn't tell him. It's not his fault. Blows past that and goes right into, what the fuck happened? And Aragorn has to be like, well, I will tell you the full tale.
Oh, God.
Because these are the most this is the single most evil piece of news Celeborn has ever had delivered to him in person. Oof. It is that fucking devastating. It is that dire for the free peoples of Middle-earth that Gandalf the Grey is no longer around.
Yeah.
Everybody's odds just went way the fuck down. So Aragorn tells the full tale. It was a Balrog, a demon of the ancient world. Legolas describes it as a Balrog of Morgoth, the second most evil thing in Middle-earth, the second most hateful thing to elves, save only Sauron.
Oof. Which is wild to think about.
Right. Right.
I didn't realize it was that big a deal.
That's what
down
the
in
one in
Moria.
the tower means is Sauron.
Yeah. Gandalf killed it, but also Gandalf died. Like it is not a good trade. If you play chess and you're trading pieces, that's a bad trade.
King for king.
Just about.
Fire wielder for fire wielder.
Yes.
And basically Celeborn's reaction to all this is like, if I had known that's what you'd been fucking up to in Moria, I would never have let you in. Especially you fucking dwarf. I cannot believe any of you were here. That is unbelievable that Gandalf would be so full of folly, would have such a grievous error in judgment. I cannot believe that I let any of you in. And Galadriel's like, this is my husband, wisest elf in Middle-earth. Shut up. Because
You're wrong.
you are wrong. And she points out, she's like, no one here is responsible for Gandalf's decisions. They didn't even know why Gandalf made the choices he made for the most part.
Yeah.
If Gandalf went into Moria, it was for a reason. If Gandalf didn't come out, that is terrible news, but nobody's fault. Also, Gimli, so glad you're here. Khazad-dûm is a wonderful place. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. The pillars and the still waters. It is a place of enchantment and wonder and beauty. And Gimli is so fucking struck by this moment that all he can think of is like, no, you're pretty. Because he does.
Instant crush.
Instinct. Because he looks into his enemy and sees love. And he's like, he's not prepared for that on any level. And to be fair, he pulls it out of his pocket and he says, no, Galadriel, you are above any jewel that rests beneath the earth. And so the response to Gimli pouring his heart out like on the fly is the room was silent. Like Tolkien's funny as fuck in that moment. He said, and there was silence. And Celeborn's like, so anyway. Yeah.
Gimli's like, and you, my lady, the fairest of them all. My heart sinks. And Celeborn's like, hello, dwarf, hello.
That's my wife.
Shut up. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. And Galadriel goes on to say, like, yes, this is my husband who I've been with since the dawn of time, and we have fought the long defeat. We have battled evil. We are Lord and Lady of the Galadrim. We are gift givers beyond compare. We can do things and see things and be things that no other king can. And then she says, I was the one who made the White Council, the Council of the Wise. I pulled that together. Gandalf was supposed to be in charge. It didn't work out. Saruman we got, whatever. But this quest is balanced on a knife's edge. And stray but a little, and we will all be fucked. But there is hope while the company remains true. And then she engages in some invasive mind reading.
Non-consensual mind reading.
Yes. No, really, she does. She starts reading minds. She reads everybody's mind. Only Legolas and Aragorn can like actually make eye contact with her while this goes on. Sam blushes super hard. And after she's gone through everybody, they're all sweating bullets. And she's like, well, that was nice. Why don't you go get some sleep?
Be gone.
Yeah. The good news for everybody is that the elves have prepared a tent on the ground for them to sleep in. Ooh. The bad news is everything that just happened to them. So they have a long climb down to think about the thoughts they thought while Galadriel was reading their mind and making direct eye contact. I cannot imagine a more horrific experience. Cannot. They get to the ground, and so Pippin's like ribbing Sam a little bit and was like, why are you blushing? What were you thinking? And Sam says, it was like standing in front with no clothes on. Like she saw everything. And I feel like I was offered my heart's desire if I abandoned the quest. Like what would it take for me to turn away from this quest? And Pippin's like, wow, actually, yeah, me too. That was really unpleasant. And then Boromir turns to Frodo and is like, what about you, Frodo? What did she offer you to abandon the quest? And Frodo says, I would rather not say. And that's essentially the consensus. Nobody's telling secrets. Everyone is deeply ashamed of whatever they thought. And except Boromir, who is like, well, you know, I feel like
Boromir in his head was just doing the Burt Reynolds laying naked on the, and he just was like, "Oh yeah," or like when she looked at him,
yeah,
she was like, "Yeah."
But he had the ring on his finger, and he was like,
unabashedly, yeah. He was like, "Oh yeah,"
on his finger.
He
Sure,
was playing with the one ring. Yeah, the ring.
Yeah,
what a fucking loser.
So he says like. He like puffs up his chest and he's like, well, the men of Minas Tirith remain true. There's nothing that will steer me from this quest. And also, I feel like she was offering things that maybe weren't in her power to even give. Like, I wouldn't trust this at all. And Aragorn turns to him and says, shut the actual fuck up. There is nothing here that's evil unless you brought it with you. I'm fucking sick of you and all this shit. Good night. And throws himself on a couch and goes to sleep.
Sassy.
That was so good.
Right?
what a great visual.
Yeah,
He was like,
yeah, just like fainting couch.
And he finally sleeps.
Right. Like a baby. They all do, actually. And they wake up the next day in full daylight to Lothlorien and breakfast, and it's very nice. And guys, it's like January, and they're sleeping out of doors. And everybody's fine. Lothlorien is truly a place out of sync with the rest of Middle-earth's time. It's not presented in any other way. It's not questioned. It's just a fact. And this is just one more, like, in your face, like, hey, this place is special and weird. And Legolas is here for it. In the same way that Gimli loved going through Moria for everything it was to dwarves, Legolas loves it here for elves. And he is like going out and around. He's too busy for his friends and like making new friends. And then he comes back and he starts taking Gimli out with him. And nobody can really say how long they've been here for, but he and Legolas are like going out and exploring all of Lothlorien. And everybody's like, what the fuck's that about? They're just chilling. Everybody is chilling. Nobody's really sure how long for, because days don't mean as much here. But it's relaxing, it's recharging. And eventually they start to decompress a little bit and remember Gandalf, like have remembrances of Gandalf. And they start like really processing his death. And part of it is that the elves are now singing songs in Gandalf's honor and songs about the deeds that Gandalf has done. And they call him Mithrandir, which means Gray Pilgrim. And they're like, Legolas, can you translate this for us? Because you speak mostly this dialect of Elvish. And he says, no, I cannot do this justice. I refuse to try. But it's beautiful and sad because Gandalf is no longer with us. But you know who that doesn't stop? Frodo. And Frodo composes a frankly awful little song. It was like there are some songs.
Long beard, big tall,
My God.
firework. Yes!
So, but true, like really though, you are amazing.
That was great.
Sam's only critique is, you should have talked about fireworks. I miss the fireworks. Gandalf had great fireworks.
Damn it, Sam.
You guys don't go fireworks?
Yeah. And Frodo looks at him as like, well, I miss his bushy eyebrows and his quick temper and his like kindness and his voice. I miss those things about Gandalf. And Sam's like, oh, fireworks. So time goes on or doesn't. And eventually Frodo turns to Sam and is like, so Sam, this is elves. How about them elves? And Sam remarks that like the elves of Lothlorien are different than all the other elves he's met. They are just different. No one here, it feels out of place. No one here is wandering, is lost. It's like this is where they belong, and it looks like that, and it feels like that. And he just wishes he could see some elf magic. And Frodo's like, this place is dripping with magic, dude. Are you like, this place is pure magic. And Sam's like, well, but not like fireworks magic. Not like magic tricks. Like,
Damn it, Sam.
Sam has a very narrow idea of what magic is and isn't. And Frodo just kind of like, well, this place is magic. Everything about this dawn, this space, don't you feel it? And Sam reflects and he's like, yeah, I guess so. I guess I do. I see what you mean. This place feels kind of strange, kind of timeless, kind of weird. And Sam says, but still, I'd really like to see some, like some elf magic. I'd like to see that. And Frodo says, I would just like to see the Lord and Lady of the Wood again. That would be nice. And then, as if she's reading their minds, Galadriel steps out of the trees and says, hello, would you like to see some magic? Come with me. Because she was reading their minds, because she does do magic. So here we go.
But also, she could have just been weirdly standing by a tree listening. You think about that?
Like
How could she have gotten there that quickly?
Can she? Because the real question now is, can she teleport?
No.
Because if she can't teleport, she was just hiding.
She was just creeping on the ring.
She was just
Oh, I
listening.
hadn't thought about that before.
And she was like, I've been reading your minds. And Frodo was like, but we were talking out loud. So you actually just listened with your ears.
But I feel like
Oh
if
my
you
God.
can read minds, I feel like it takes a lot of energy to block things out. And maybe she just was like not blocking and she heard like elf magic and she was like heading their way. I'm not saying
she's
that's
floating at a she's
Like a
jumping.
ghost.
Anytime someone's talking about her, she's appearing. That's what I believe.
She's like hereditary floating just
She's
through
got
the air.
that like old movie trick where she steps behind one tree and comes out behind another one.
Well, like,
she uses the trees as doorways.
Imagine you live in Lothlorien and you have to deal with that reality and you have to train your brain to just not think about Galadriel. It has to like, your brain has to like roll around that space
Yeah.
and like you just can't think it.
Oh my god.
oh my gosh,
It's fucking wild.
It's hard
But-
not
Once
to watch
again,
your
the
mouth.
power of names in this book.
Yeah.
You say something out loud and it appears or something happens. It's crazy. Yeah. The power of language.
Yeah.
But she does say that she has something that Frodo and I guess Sam should see. And she takes them down to an enclosed garden and she says, here is my mirror of Galadriel. Galadriel wants to show you Galadriel's mirror. This is all like Strider would, hi, Strider's name is Strider and Strider has friends and he wants you to know. Regardless, what it is it's a carved pedestal of stone like a tree. And in the branches of that tree is a silver basin. And she says, I can command this to show you things that were, things that are, things that are yet to pass or may not pass. Though I can command it, it's more fruitful for it to just show you what the mirror is going to show you. Sam, would you like to see some elf magic? because you don't make a distinction between magic in the sense of like what the enemy does versus what I do. She challenges Sam's basic idea of what magic is and isn't in a very interesting way because it frames it as like elves are just magical beings. They don't do magic. They just are fucking magic.
Yeah.
Right.
So elf magic is just elves being elves.
Right.
Sauron's magic is Sauron doing evil shit.
It's trickery.
Sorcery.
Sorcery. Yes. And so she offers this to Sam. And she's like, yeah, but I know you're going to want to take a peek because you like to spy on things. That's how you got here. And Sam's like, yeah, all right. Let's see some magic. And up he goes.
Fair.
Yep, got me.
Can't argue with that.
Sam looks into this mirror, and at first he sees nothing. And then he sees Frodo lying pale and sick. And then he sees himself searching for something. And then he sees trees in the wind, but they're not in the wind. They're being felled. They're being taken down. And it's these ancient trees in the Shire. And Ted Sandyman's doing it. And fucking Ted Sandyman, you shouldn't be fucking touching that. And Sandyman's mill is gone, and there's this new brick mill that's come up, and it's belching black smoke into the Shire. And Sam starts freaking out. He's like, oh my God, Elrond was right. We should have sent somebody home. We should have let them know things were going to happen. Oh God, the Shire. And then he sees the gaffer, his dad, his old man, has been kicked out of his little house on Bagshot Row. And he's got all his little possessions in a wheelbarrow. And he's fucking homeless. And Sam, I have to go. I need to get home right now. I got to go. Even if I have to go alone, I'm going right now. And Galadriel says, calm down, because not everything you see in the mirror has happened or even will happen. But if you try to prevent that from coming to pass, you may cause it to pass. Mm-hmm. Also, ain't no fucking way you're going to make it home alone. Were you not listening? Besides which, until 30 seconds ago, you were ready to go with Frodo to the bitter end. And has anything really changed? And Sam, to his credit, takes a breath and says, nah, I guess not really. My road home is the long way. But I'm going to beat Ted Sandyman to death when I get home. And so while Sam's having himself a good cry, she turns to Frodo and says, you want to take a peek? And Frodo looks at Sam, looks at her and says, what do you counsel? She says, I do not counsel. I don't advise people to do this or that. I simply give them an opportunity to see things. I give information, not advice. Which is a great non-answer, right? Like if you'd asked Elrond what to do, he'd have called a council and made everyone listen as he
it's
told
like
you.
when you ask someone, you're like, what do I do in this situation? And they respond with like, you're going to need to take this seriously. And you're like, what?
But that's what I love about her. She's so powerful, but she does not give counsel.
Right. She knows.
She's a mall rat.
No. She's wise enough to know that she cannot tell Frodo what to do. He has to find it within himself.
Right.
And so she's given him all the information to make his best choice for him and his journey.
Which is really funny when you take that into context and you just smash cut to Elrond going,
You must do
boom.
this.
He goes, okay, here's what you got to do.
Exactly.
Right. Here's the roster. Here's what you're doing.
It's just this total juxtaposition.
There's so many comparisons in this, and we will get to all of them.
Yes, and so specifically the contrasts between Galadriel and between Elrond and between all of their approaches is one of the things I love about this chapter.
Yes.
And so Frodo agrees, okay, maybe something good will come of this. I will look. And he looks into the Mirror of Galadriel. And at first it is just black. And it reflects only the stars of the night sky. And then he sees a stranger, a figure, robed on a road, walking. And he thinks, is that Gandalf? Am I going to see Gandalf doing things? Like, is this going to help me? And he's looking at the figure. He can't make out the face. And he thinks, like, is this Saruman? Like, what am I seeing? And then it cuts. And it cuts to the sea. And Frodo's never seen the sea before, but he knows in his heart this is what this is, and that this is important to my quest. And so it's the sea in storm, and then a torn ship sailing out of the west, and then a mighty river and a city on that river, and then a white fortress with flags and huge like gleaming walls, and then a ship again, and the smoke of battle, and then finally a little boat sailing away over the horizon. And as he's pondering this, darkness again covers the mirror, and the ring starts to be very heavy on his neck. And as he's staring into this black basin of water, he sees it. He sees the eye of Sauron. This yellow cat's eye with like the slit pupil, ringed in fire, searching intently, searching for him. And the ring is pulling him and pulling him closer. And Galadriel's one thing that she said not to do was touch the fucking water, which she helpfully says again. She says, do not touch the fucking water. And gravity's being pulled towards this all-seeing eye. And then the spell breaks. And it goes black. And he's just like, he is flabbergasted. He's stunned. And so Galadriel sees Frodo and she says, don't worry. This cannot touch you here. We are beyond the perception of the enemy. Because this place is protected by more than songs, more than arrows. It's protected by me, my power, my ability to perceive and to hide things. This place, I hide from the enemy. He cannot perceive this center of power. He cannot perceive us. We are safe while we are here, but I can read his mind. I can read the mind of Sauron, the relentless enemy. At least so far as it concerns elves, because I have this and I deny him and all his power. And she like makes this gesture up to the stars, and it like the starlight comes through her hand, and Frodo can see on her hand is a ring. And that's it. That's one of the 3 elven rings of power. That's Nanya, the adamant ring. And with that power, Galadriel's able to do unfathomably powerful things, like read Sauron's fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she turns to Frodo and says, and you are my doom. Should you fail, Sauron will destroy this place. He will overpower everything. Nothing we can do can withstand the power of Sauron once he has this ring. But should you succeed, and the one ring is destroyed, it may render my ring and all rings of power powerless. It will rob my ability to hold this place together. It will fade. Elvendom will fade. We will become hermits. We will hide from the world. We'll live underground. We'll become rustic and forgotten. And that's a dig directly at Legolas's family.
Yeah.
Rough.
The cave elves.
Yeah. In Mirkwood, they live in caves. That is some shit.
Brutal.
Yeah, she's in the trees. They're in the dirt.
Right. And so Frodo looks at her and says, well, then what do you want from me? What do you want? And she says, I want that what should be shall be.
Helpful.
But also so her.
Yeah.
She's not even gonna like pinpoint her desire. She's gonna leave it up
Vague.
to fate.
And Frodo is super cool with that approach too, because he's ready to like, okay, well, why don't you take the ring then? Clearly you are way more equipped for this than I am.
Yep.
I have received 0 days of training. And she says, no, what kind of host would I be if I were to take this from a guest by force? It would just prove the point that the ring is corrupting and evil and no good can come of it. Also, I would be as beautiful and terrible as the morning and the night. I would be as dreadful as the sea and storm. I would be stronger than the bones of the earth.
My finger's a size 8. That's a 6. I already tried it.
All shall love me and despair.
She gets a little intense there.
She really does. She turns into this like, she does that thing that Gandalf would do when he gets big and like she becomes this like terrible and gorgeous figure to behold. And then she denies the ring. And she says, no, I will not take it. I will remain Galadriel. I will diminish. I will pass into the west. I have passed this test. And then again, she's just Galadriel, Frodo. And Frodo's like, okay, but why can't, if I've worn this ring, why can't I read the mind of Sauron? then, or tell anything about the rings? Why can I get nothing from this but terror? And she says, well, you've worn it 3 times since you've known what it is. It's been bad every time. Don't do that anymore. Definitely don't do that. If you want to do things like read the minds of the most powerful sorcerers in existence, you have to put in a little work. It takes training. You need to become a being that can do that. There is no path where you can achieve that. It is impossible. It's beyond your grasp. Don't even try it. Do not put that ring on. It is folly. Sauron will find you and eat you. But you still have the power of perception. You've perceived things that others don't. For example, Sam, did you see my ring? And Sam's like, I saw some starlight, I think. Sam didn't even see the ring on her finger when she was showing them.
Yeah.
But Frodo did. And Sam finishes helpfully off with, but you really ought to take the ring. You would put everything right. And she says, yes, that's how it would begin. But I would not stop with that. Enough of this. We're done talking about me taking the ring. Let's go get dinner. And that's how the chapter ends.
It's a pretty cool chapter.
A lot to think about.
Pretty boring, but
Oh my God.
let's dive into this. There's so much to talk about here. I don't want to delay this any further. I feel like the natural start to this is the most obvious part of part 1, at least for me, which is Gimli.
Yeah. That was maybe my favorite part of the chapter when Celeborn has this great, respectful welcome for Gimli. He says, oh, it's long indeed since we saw one of Durin's folk here, but today we've broken our long law. May it be a sign that though the world is now dark, better days are at hand and that friendship shall be renewed between our peoples. And everybody is feeling wonderful. And then 2 minutes later, after we hear the story of Gandalf, he's like, I take it back. If I had known that you were involved in this, no dwarf would ever be here. It was so rude.
What an asshole.
I know.
Yeah.
And then Galadriel's like, don't listen to my fucking husband. He is an idiot. You are welcome.
My note about that is Celeborn, kind of a dick.
Yeah. Definitely just not really in control of his emotions and just flies off the
Well,
handle.
he's described as the wisest, so that kind of makes sense.
Does it though?
He's used to being the last word person, top dog in the room.
I don't get that impression from this chapter.
But then
with
Galadriel, but Galadriel
fixes all the
is
problems.
the boss of this world.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretend like they're Lord and Lady. They always say Lord Celeborn and Lady Galadriel. But if they were getting invited to a wedding, it wouldn't be Mr. and Mrs.
It would be
Celeborn. It'd be Mr. and Mrs. Galadriel.
Yeah. It'd be Galadriel +1.
Yeah.
Mrs. and Mr.
Yeah. I mean, she rules the roost here.
Yeah.
But I do like that Galadriel says her husband is the wisest in the world.
The wisest of the elves of Middle Earth.
Yeah.
But she also says
And
that
that's cool.
immediately after going, shut the fuck up. You're wrong.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm
He's
saying.
the wisest.
It's really written from a perspective of a married couple.
Yeah.
When someone who's like, trust me, my husband he's an amazing man, bless his heart, and I wouldn't be here without him. But he's an idiot.
He just flies off the
It's
handle
like that,
sometimes.
but in that written in that language.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, so it is kind of a brag, and it's a powerful statement, though. You could say it's honestly true, because the other big, powerful elf we've met is Elrond. And a huge part of this chapter is specifically contrasting Galadriel with Elrond, because Elrond is all about giving people advice. He's all about counsels. He's all about, I did this before, and God damn it, it worked, because it did work.
Kind of.
It did.
He won the battles. He won the battles, and Isildur fucked it all up.
Yeah.
And he trusted men, and then for whatever reason didn't cut the guy in half and throw both halves in the fucking volcano. By contrast, Galadriel and Celeborn are ready to shoot Gimli just for trying to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not fucking around. Elrond is this really cool character, but he's also a failed warlord. He tried his way. It's over. Galadriel is holding her own. She's holding Lothlorien out of time against the enemy. There is no shadow in Lorien, and there never will be. It is by her power alone.
Well, I want to say this too. I love that you brought up Elrond versus Galadriel because his chapter is called The Council of Elrond.
Oh.
Her main chapter is called The Mirror of Galadriel, which right there, those two chapter titles are opposites on the spectrum.
Yeah, they
One
are.
is telling you what to be. The other one is showing you yourself in the mirror and you decide. And even in the chapter title, Tolkien set up this, compare and contrast of these
Love
two
that.
powerful elves. And I was like, the brilliance of him is even in just his chapter titles. I really geeked out, especially after reading this chapter. I was like, wow, there's so many comparisons between Galadriel and other strong people in this world throughout the whole chapter. But it's really cool because she is so powerful that her ego is second place. And she just has you look into yourself. And that's true power.
Yeah.
Like you have to
Yeah.
decide for
I mean,
yourself.
I think there's a world where let's be honest, some of the chapter titles are a bit derivative. They're a
Oh
bit
my God,
meh.
Chris.
Journey in the
But
dark.
some
I
of them
proved to you
work.
that Gandalf was in the dark.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
They all
But it
work.
doesn't make it smarter. It
This-
just
It
makes
is.
it
No,
work.
no.
It
this,
is.
This book is a masterpiece. It
It's a
truly
masterpiece.
is. We don't
Everything
do it
is
justice.
intentional.
Yes. Every word, because he probably drove...
Except
an-
maybe the dick jokes.
Yeah. He probably drove an editor to like drinking with all of his like weird grammar.
I have a note about that actually. I wrote that the Tolkien's editor must have been like literally having a stress attack trying to get this to be published ready. So he called him. He's like, "Hey, Johnny boy, listen. You've capitalized every other word in this chapter. I mean, I get what you're doing. I just don't think the big guys at the office are gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Every word is technically a proper noun, but we can't be doing that.
There's a lot of them, and just a few of them I wrote down here that just stood out. This is within one sentence. This is all within one sentence.
Oh.
The sun, the west, the sea, time, and the eye.
Okay.
That's a lot of nouns to be proper.
They're all vague as fuck.
No, they are. They all have
they are-
specific meanings,
They do.
which is why they're
But
capitalized.
not one single one of them requires being capitalized because
No, it
there's-
does.
No,
It totally does.
The
The
sun.
The eye 100% does.
Well, the
Yeah.
eye I see. The eye I see. The sea. The sea.
There's a specific
The
C in
IIC,
mind.
but not the C? Come on, that's funny.
the sun, maybe not.
That's so good.
But like the sun doesn't need a capital. It's the sun.
Is there more than one sun?
Well,
No.
we're the... No,
There's
no,
not
yep.
more than one sun.
I'm asking Pat.
The west? No, because there's one sun and it rises and then it goes to bed.
Some
we would
of
have
us have
no
multiple
nighttime
suns.
if there wasn't. The west, the sea. Anyway, that's all. I thought it was interesting.
Well, speaking of the eye, in the summary, Pat brought up how, they're describing Lord Celeborn and Lady Galadriel, and they talk about how they're ageless, they're powerful, they're warriors, but their eyes are not timeless. Their eyes are showing their age, and they're filled with
Raisins.
no. They're filled with
Wisdom.
light and wisdom and experience in their souls. And I just love the juxtaposition of that between when Frodo is looking in the mirror of Galadriel and he finally sees the eye of Sauron, his great enemy who's searching for him. And it says he sees the eye and is terrible and is filled with nothing. Then later, Galadriel says, I have seen this. Well, she says, do not touch the water. She makes it go away. She says, do not worry, I've seen this as well. This eye cannot touch you here because this whole land is hidden from my power. Like, she's the only reason he can't see her. He is groping in the dark to find her and cannot. He wants her like power and her light so bad.
Yeah.
But the door is shut, she says.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking awesome. And it's cool because they're so on the opposite end of the spectrum, sort of like in the couple previous chapters, Gandalf is on the opposite side of the Balrog. It's like light and dark just constantly in this timeless battle. But she's winning currently. Like, he is searching for not just Frodo, but her. And she has evaded him for eons.
Like, she cannot defeat him.
No.
No one can. But she's holding her own.
Yes.
Like, she can read his mind. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you think that there's ever, like, a night where Galadriel has too much wine and is like, hey, let's go down to the mirror. What do you think he's thinking? And it's just, like, sassing.
I honestly
What is
really
he
do.
thinking about?
I
Yeah.
really do. I think she's so upset. Like, I feel like, too, it's if someone is that much, like, hunting you down, it would almost become an obsession.
Oh yeah.
And she'd constantly be touching it base, being like, is he getting close?
Yeah.
What's the status of him in the ring? Like, I think as much as she's in control of, like, he can't see her, he also, like, is in total control of her thoughts.
I think Galadriel is the perfect stalker.
She is. I agree. I think girls are very good at stalking people, whether it's through mind reading
Or like through the woods
going on to
at night.
fucking go through the woods at night.
What? I guess we dated different girls.
But also Galadriel was at nighttime just hiding in the woods behind Sam and Frodo.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So what you just said, Galadriel and the Eye of Sauron are kind of like polar opposites. They're kind of matched in power almost. And how Gandalf and the Balrog were opposites matched in power. And it made me wonder, like, okay, what's Frodo's opposite? Is it Gollum?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think it is.
It is.
From what we know
Like,
so
does
far,
everybody
definitely.
have an opposite
Yeah.
on the other side?
I think it's very clearly
Well, I
Gollum.
think this world is very balanced.
yeah,
Even if
yeah.
sometimes the scales tip. And I feel like the magic of this world is very balanced.
Well, Tolkien even
you can't
says
be
that.
too greedy or you get like, I mean, honestly, Sauron's the biggest bad of the world. He's stuck in a tower and he's a giant eyeball. Like, that's a terrible life or existence. It's not even a life.
Yeah, even among men, even though they're both kind of on the same side, like Aragorn and Boromir are
Yeah.
somewhat
There's all this
opposites.
tension everywhere.
Yeah,
Because
there's
one-
just foils.
And Legolas and Gimli are the same. They are
And what
opposites.
and what defines all these opposites is as a decision.
Body hair.
No, it's your well, no, but what defines all these opposites? It's their decisions. It's one choice made them polar opposites.
yeah,
That's such a cool theme in this book so far.
and it's really just one choice: light or dark. You know?
And like it could be dark for a seemingly good reason.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of this. It really makes you think.
A major theme in Tolkien's writing is this this tension between opposites, this contrasting poles. Elrond and Galadriel, good and evil, east and west, water and dry land. These all they come up repeatedly. It's fucking rad.
Yeah.
It is cool because it's not always like explicitly explained. So I wouldn't have picked up on that if you hadn't said it. So
cool.
this is really cool.
I had a question for everybody. If you lived in Lothlorien, what would your address be?
Okay. I would live at 15 Willow Tree Court,
Ooh.
Lorien, Middle
Not
Earth.
Lorien, not Lothlorien. So you're in the city.
Is
you're
there
not
a
in the woods.
difference? Is
Yeah,
Lorien
yeah,
the city?
Lothlorien's the
Okay,
woods.
okay.
Lorien
I'm
is
a
the
city
city.
girl.
My man.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed by that.
I picked that up.
My man.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in the woods. I want to live in the city, but definitely Willow Tree and not up in the crazy area with the Lord and Lady. That's too much work.
15 Willow Tree Court. I love
I wouldn't
that.
want her to constantly be reading my mind. Like I want to be down on the ground.
So Laura and I lived at a Shadow Oaks Court once.
we
I don't want that. I just want Shadow Oaks Court. I don't
love
give a shit what
that.
the house number is. But also
Wait,
being
I care.
okay.
Choose one that
13.
means 13.
13 Shadow Oaks
Ooh,
Court.
you shadowy emo boy.
Well, I mean, I'm never going to get to go there because, frankly, I like camping and I have a filthy mind. So I'm going to get kicked out. Like, she's going to do a flyby of like the front of my lobes and be like, guard duty.
And
You
you're
go out
like,
there
and you're like, that makes sense.
and it's going to be me and Haldir and his two brothers like sitting in the woods. With a
You're
little
on the
fire.
river rope.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing the rope.
I'm the rope man.
Allie and
Literally
Pally.
wait until somebody comes over here.
Wait, can you just imagine Pat like, hi? Throwing the rope.
That's my whole life.
Oh my God. What about you?
So I think personally, because of the street I grew up on, I would have to just copy that because it was teak court. And teak is a type of tree. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I think I would just stick with that. It was a great place to grow up.
That's
I
awesome.
love
cool.
that.
Honestly, do elves even know what a New World tree is?
Who knows? They won't even understand it as a word.
That's fair. To
love
be fair,
that.
though, all of Middle Earth is like the New World to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, that's cool. All right.
What about you, Chris?
12 Oak Star Lane.
Ooh.
Star.
Ooh, Oak Star.
Yeah, because I would want to be deep enough into like a row of trees that I'm not at the end. I'm like, there's like some barrier between, for traffic. Keep it down, keep it quiet.
That's why you're on a court.
Yeah. Well,
he
she's on the
said
court.
lane.
I'm on a lane.
I'm on a court too.
Yeah.
Sounds
We all
smart.
did
court.
courts except for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But I
Keeps the traffic down.
like lane. I bought a house that is on a lane. I like the word lane. It's good vibes. And I want to be in, but Oak Star, because I want to feel like it's like a nighttime. There's not a lot of light. I'm kind of in the darkness. It's a little more like a little Tim Burton-y feel to my strip.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, we don't fuck with Oakstar Lane. We don't do that.
I love that.
I got a question. Do you live at the top of the tree or the bottom of the tree? Like, do you live low to the ground or is high up?
frets up.
8 frets up. It's like an apartment complex.
Oh my God.
I'm on the 8th
cheap
fret.
A condo.
And I negotiated heavily for that one.
I get all of my groceries
my
delivered by
God.
Eagle.
I deliver 8 acorns a month
It's
for
just
that.
Haldir. Haldir with a pack.
Oh, God.
I feel like the word Bane was brought up entirely too many times in like a singular paragraph. They were, what the heck was it?
It's a great word.
It's an awesome word, but the problem is, it's like when you hear a word said too many times in a certain amount of time, like you notice it.
Yeah.
And
loses
you're
its
like,
meaning.
and in your head you're like, why are you saying that so many times? You know. And so he said, and by he I mean Jert. Jert said, Durin's Bane and Isildur's Bane. Dude, Bane's getting a lot of page time.
Yeah. You know what Laura's Bane is?
What?
Tequila.
Why?
Oh no.
Well, so do you want me to answer? Do you?
Does it kill you?
Well, I can just say I like tequila, but tequila doesn't like me.
You know what?
Fair
That's a
enough.
safe
Oh,
answer.
I get that. That
That's
makes
the
sense.
safest answer.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. What's
Yep.
Bat's Bane?
Well, along the same lines, I would say probably like rye whiskey. I don't think I've ever seen you drink rye whiskey and like remember the rest of the night.
Oh no.
I thought you were going to say timelines or deadlines.
Deadlines. Oh, that's a pretty good one.
Rye whiskey's the thing I drink when I am already beyond hope.
Yeah.
Oh my
Good to know.
I
It's
love
his
rye
blackout
whiskey.
drink.
What's that say about me?
I don't know. RJ, what is Chris's Bane?
Eggs.
Oh no!
He gets a
Remember that
rash.
time I made Chris
His
eat a
stomach
quiche?
gets so sick. Oh, poor man.
He did it for the show.
Sorry.
He dealt with it. It's fine.
Okay, so what's
If you go back and you watch that episode, I'm like cutting it and I'm like, and I like put it up to my lips and I kind of just like tongue it. I cut a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
you like dump it off the side.
Oh my God.
The problem is there's no dog here to eat it off the
I
floor.
know.
There's so much food on the floor when we're done an episode. It's fucking amazing.
Somebody bring us a dog, please.
So Chris, what is my bane?
Your Bane? Oh, your Bane's so fucking easy. Your Bane is anything that is put anywhere, not where it should be.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh,
I'm surprised you went with that. Because I would say anything, if I have to do like computer work, like punching in
No,
the
no,
numbers
no,
is
no,
the
no.
bane of my existence.
Well, yes. To
I
be
hate
honest,
using the computer.
you are insufferable when you have to do technology things.
I hate it.
I instantly want to kill you.
hey!
I want to take a shovel.
We're gonna take an off ramp.
I want to take a shovel and I want to hit your head and just end it right there.
I guess shovels are RJ's.
Someone's gonna get Ted Sandyman.
But the reality is that's just a frustration because you're not a technology girl, because you read and you live in the real world. I live in the digital world. And so that's just a frustration of transition there. But what actually is your Bane, what makes you turn red in the face and get fired up.
Self-destructing?
And it's when like she looks at the dining room table, one chair has a hoodie of mine. The chair next to it has my winter coat. Leaning against the third chair on the floor is my backpack. On the actual chair cushion is my laptop. Her veins will turn black with rage.
So to be clear, a bane is the thing that is your undoing.
Yes, it undoes her.
It undoes, but
Trust me, it fucking does.
So no, I get that though, because Laura works from home, and every surface in the house is covered with something. And I occasionally, like, my OCD kicks in, and it just can't be that way anymore.
Yes.
I decide that I need to declutter the world.
yes.
Yeah.
Pat, we're the
What does
same
that have to do with
person.
me working from home?
Yeah, I understand.
Because you're just around, okay?
You
Does that
cover.
mean I should be cleaning the whole time I'm home?
No, it's because the upstairs office is all your stuff. That you do work. But it's all your upstairs stuff. And then downstairs, the countertops, we have such a small kitchen. The countertops is all
Amen.
like,
Amen.
It's all a mixer, a stand mixer, and then whatever you
Do you know why? Because we have a podcast every week.
I know
that I have to cook for.
But then there's like mail and oranges and a
Thank you.
spoon. I
Thank
don't
you.
know. I better
Keep
use
the mail not on
seen.
the counter. Yes.
And the coffee table has everything but coffee on it. There's no room.
Amen, Pat. Amen.
It's just Amazon packages, things that I've never seen and you've never seen, because none of them are for us. I don't know where they come from. It's an endless stream of things. And then we go in the back room, and there's 2 tables. We have to set up a second table because the second table is covered in plants.
So this is like therapy for you guys, right?
Also, we're now in we're double dating couples therapy.
I love it. I
So,
love
Laura,
it.
we've learned that you and Chris are the same person.
Yes, apparently.
And me and Pat are the same person.
Yep.
And I let it go maybe a week. And then he'll come home from work one day and the house is spotless. It looks like a model home where no one lives there. There's a candle burning. There's not a fucking thing out of sight. And he goes, "Where's all my shit?" His office is like packed to the brim. I'm like,
that to me
this
too.
is
She
your
walks
personal
into my
room.
office and she takes the paper and she goes,
So when Laura has
No,
very
I actually gently put it on your desk. I mean, that fills up your chair.
when Laura has reason, because again, I am not a reasonable person in most circumstances. When Laura has reasonably decided, oh, we're gonna clean because we're gonna have company or something, the house has to get a good deep clean. That usually involves going out to the store, getting stuff, or last minute things, whatever. So Laura will leave and be like, "I'm coming back in 2 hours. We've made a list of things to do around the house. You said you were gonna do these 7 things. Okay, fine. Most of them are clean, whatever, untidy, do stuff." And 15 minutes before Laura gets home, I panic because
Yep.
I've been on my phone the whole time.
Every
and I
fucking
just, I
time.
just throw everything into my office and close the door.
"Oh my god."
Oh, no.
I'm like, all right, you have 2 hours. That's plenty of time to do all these things. You wait until 5 minutes before I get home.
I'm literally always vacuuming because I can't throw the carpets in my
That's
office.
Sam.
Shit! Fuck! No!
In case I need it.
Oh. And to be clear, that is me not being a reasonable adult. But
That's there's a lot of banes.
a lot of banes. And
of
we've
banes
learned
going
what a
around.
bane is. We have a definition for that now.
Finally,
Yes.
because it's
It-
not described before, but
it's
it
a-
is now.
It's a thing that undoes you.
Yeah.
Speaking of definitions, this is a very kind of a silly one. I kind of went on a little deep dive for a moment because the elves were singing about Gandalf in Memoriam, and they called him Mithrandir, which translates to "O Pilgrim Grey." And I was thinking that's interesting because as Americans, I think we have a very clear definition of what a pilgrim is. Jert is not an American, right?
True. Yeah.
So, what did he mean when he called Gandalf a pilgrim?
Turkey.
So I looked up, what did you say?
Turkey.
A turkey. Good. So I looked up the definition of the word pilgrim just to see if I could learn anything. And so the definition is really just a wanderer, someone who's on a journey, sometimes with a religious connotation, sometimes not. But as I, scrolled down, I noticed that the etymology of pilgrim in Latin, the word is peregrinus. Peregrinus? I don't know. And in Old English, it's peregrine.
Oh, the bird.
What's Pippin's name?
Peregrine.
Peregrine.
Fuck.
How weird is that?
That's such a cool connection
Interesting.
between him and Gandalf because
Because Gandalf hates Pippin.
Because he hates him.
But we're talking about how
Is
everything.
Pippin the next Gandalf? Stay tuned next week for
time travel. How everything Tolkien does is pretty intentional, and it just makes me wonder if that was intentional as well.
that's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it wasn't.
Well, also, you have to know for a fact that hobbits have forgotten that definition because no reality is one of them going to name their son Peregrine Wanderer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like
Actually,
a
no.
journeyer.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe the Tooks. The Tooks are the most adventurous of the hobbits.
They are.
Maybe.
They dare to live near water.
Well, speaking of pilgrims going on a journey, I would like to journey towards our treat segment.
Hey.
Nice.
All right, I've got something really special prepared for you guys this week.
I'm excited.
All right, let's go.
It's the Mirror of Galadriel.
Yes. So obviously, I've been watching too much Great British Bake Off. So this week,
As you do.
yeah, right. This week, I learned how to make a mirror glaze
Oh, snakes.
and decided to put it on a random piece of pound cake.
Oh my God, it looks so
Dang.
good.
This is beautiful.
So
a
it's the-
mirror glaze is supposed to be very, very shiny. It's like a finish that you would put over your buttercream or whatever on a cake. I made them look kind of galaxy-esque. So
Yeah.
if you were looking into Galadriel's mirror,
Yes,
what
that's
you might
immediately what I
see-
thought of.
Yeah,
So,
reflected.
So what we're looking at is a piece of pound cake, and it is like frosted, but it's a mirror glaze. So it is poured on, and then it hardens like a weird glassy shell, and it's got this super cool like galaxy marbling with like black and a little bit of what is that like?
like
is it-
blue
is that
and
fucking
purple.
blue and purple.
Yeah.
and like, is that
Like
glitter?
streaks of blue and purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some edible glitter in the black, so it's
the fuck
like
out.
stars and stuff.
Oh, I love this. This is
Yeah.
cool as hell.
It looks like the Milky Way and like also the Aurora Borealis.
There
But
you go.
if the Aurora Borealis was blue
Edible.
and purple. All right, let's try this thing. It's beautiful. I'm so sorry for ruining it because it's beautiful. But
So just eat it in one bite.
There you go. Yep, one bite.
like a taco? Ooh.
Wow, that is so good.
The buttercream is raspberry.
I was gonna say, what the fuck's that
It's
flavor?
very fruity. Yeah.
It's a Starlight. Tastes like rocket fuel.
Thank you. That's what you want people to say about your bakes.
This tastes like the night sky of dead stars,
Rocket Man.
which is all really poetically beautiful. But when you think about it, you're like, oh, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it tastes like existential despair.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like
tastes like
everything
very
is
shiny.
fading.
Diminishing.
Actually, it kind of does as we eat it.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man.
very good, though.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to just when the treat is just liquor.
Well, if you want to know what it tastes like, the recipe will be in the show notes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Don't forget to check those out. We have a recipe every week for the treat.
Honestly, this was fucking delicious. I was super surprised at how good the glaze, mirror glaze, actually tasted.
What are you
But,
trying to
Yeah.
say?
well, I don't know too many things that create a mirror and are delicious.
Don't act like you've never
I've
licked
eaten a
glass.
lot of mirrors in my life.
You've licked more than one mundo.
This is freaking awesome. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Next week, we're going to talk about book 2, chapter, I think it's 8.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Chapter 8 of book 2. Holy crap. That's crazy. We're almost done. Well, not almost. We have a couple more, but
Yeah.
what's the next chapter called?
Farewell to Lorien.
Farewell to Lorien. I guess we're leaving. If we're going to leave, perhaps our fellowship could just take one more bite before they go. And then, if they got to leave, they got to leave.
And then back to hell. I'm just kidding.
Back to hell. I love that.
RJ cuts straight to the chase.
This is the only good thing that's happened to them.
in a while.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like nice. Like, I just want them to just sleep in. I want them to wake up to the fresh air at 11 a.m. I want them to stay up late drinking wine
Sleep
and
off.
telling stories. And
Yeah.
I
They
want
just
them to
did that.
just have like a beautiful moment.
Sleep outside in January forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want Sam to see some magic that he wants to see. And perhaps we'll get lucky and Haldir's cousin, Deer Hal, will pull out some cards and do a quick card trick. And that's how, it just happens.
You should rewrite these books.
Oh my God, Chris's
I'm
fanfic would be
still
out of
waiting on the
control.
fucking editor to get back to me. I have submitted 11 papers. I did an essay on why. It was an 8-page essay on why the title doesn't make sense.